We are nearing my favorite time of the year, and that is the release of the new FIFA. FIFA 23 is on the horizon, and that has me thinking about what we could start career mode with in the new game. So here are the top 10 teams that I think you should use in FIFA 23 career mode. Coming in at number 10, we have Marseille. Marseille finished second in Ligue 1 last season, and I believe that would be a great challenge to take them over and try eclipsing PSG as the top team in France. Their stadium, the Stade Velodrome, is a phenomenal stadium. It is vibey. It'll be a pleasure to play home games there every single game. You've got a really, really fun squad. It's a really balanced squad. You've got older players, like experienced players. You've got middle-aged players. You've got a really good young core. And of course, you have Dimitri Payet to bang in free kicks. Champions League football will be on the agenda for season 1 as well, so you can get right into European football if you use Marseille. And let's be real, Marseille is just a cool city. It is a vibey city. Using Marseille in FIFA 23 would just be a vibey time all around. So we've gone from near the top of the French football. Now in number 9, we're going right to the bottom of the English footballing pyramid, as I recommend Stockport County. Stockport's rise over the past few years has been absolutely phenomenal, climbing up the lower divisions, and now after winning the Vanarama National League last year, they find themselves in League 2. They are this year's Road to Glory go-to team. Every year, it feels like there's a new team promoted that haven't been in FIFA, if ever, or for a very long time, and that's what Stockport is. Located just south of Manchester, little storyline I feel like you could use is make them the biggest club in the greater Manchester region. Really an opportunity to create some heroes and turn a nothing team in the grand scheme of things into the greatest on planet Earth. Jumping out of Europe and jumping down to South America, the 8th team that I recommend you use in FIFA 23 career mode is Boca Juniors. I am a firm believer that South American career modes are unbelievably underrated. Ever since the Copa Libertadores and the CONMEBOL Libertadores has been added to FIFA, it is so much fun. Winning the South American Champions League is underrated. The gold texture, all that stuff. And Boca Juniors, they are such a historic club. Their stadium, again, you guys might be able to tell, I love when teams have cool stadiums. It makes a career mode so much better. I think a dream of mine as a career mode nerd is to have every single team in world football licensed with face scans and their stadiums in the game. There is really 2 outlets though. If you're not sold on a South American career mode, you could always move Boca Juniors to the European leagues or to any league in the world and see if you could create a road to glory there. But I reckon Boca Juniors are a super underrated shout. Number 7, I'm sure you guys expected it at some point, but it is Manchester United. For the 2nd straight year, I am recommending you do a Manchester United career mode. There is no denying they are a mess, and if you get FIFA 23 and want a career mode that can be done in maybe 2-3 years to just ease your way into it, Manchester United is that. I mean, you could argue that the rebuild they're going to have to go through in real life is not a 2 or 3 year job, but it can be in career mode, that is for sure. The big storyline is, can you return a once giant of European football back to the top of English and European football? If you do decide to do a Manchester United career mode to start FIFA 23, you could take it 2 routes. You could give yourself full control, put your own spin of it, or you could do a Erik ten Hag realistic career mode and kind of role play as him. We know real life managers have been added to FIFA 23 this year. You could get Erik ten Hag, pretend to be him, sign all the Ajax players, and have an absolute blast. From one fallen giant to another, number 6 on the list is FC Barcelona. Their struggles over the past few years have been well and truly documented, but a big reason why I decided to put them on the list this year instead of last year and any other year is because the Camp Nou is back, baby. The Spotify Camp Nou, it still feels weird to say that, but the Spotify Camp Nou is in FIFA 23. They've got their licensing back from PES. You absolutely love to see it, baby. And it just works out well that they're in absolute shambles at the moment. Can you return Barcelona to the top European glory? I would recommend putting some financial limitations on yourself. I'm really hoping that the coding in the game this year makes Barcelona start off with a lot less money than they have in real life and like what they have in other career modes, in other FIFAs. It would just not be as fun if you started up FIFA 23 and you had 100, 200 million euros to spend for the squad and the transfer budget. I want an almost bankrupt Barcelona career mode with full licensing again. Really make it a challenge for yourselves, lads. But can you restore stability and prosper with Barcelona? A little bit of a change up here for number 5. We're going to the Women's League. I'm recommending a Reading Women's Career Mode. Again, one of the new changes to FIFA 23 is the addition of the women's leagues. We've got the French Women's League, and we've also got the Barclays Women's Super League. I think it's a fun idea to explore, playing one career mode with the Women's League. I'm definitely going to be giving it a go myself. Do I think I'll be playing a women's career mode for 5-10 seasons? Not a chance in the world. Not unless EA put a lot of development into it, and they have a depth, and they have regens with women. But to be honest, if I do a women's career mode this year, it's a 2-season, a 3-season sort of thing at max. I'm interested to see what EA can do moving forward with the women's leagues. Maybe they'll have the Women's Bundesliga, they get the Women's Champions League, all of that stuff in there. The American Women's League we know is pretty big, but at the moment I think Reading is a nice challenge. They're not the top of the league, they're definitely a mid-table Women's Super League club. Can you get them to the top, taking over the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal? 4 teams remain in the countdown, and for the first time in the video, we are heading to the Eredivisie, where I recommend Ajax. We've spoken about Erik ten Hag earlier in the video. Of course, he is out of the club. He is at Manchester United, and this gives you a few options. We know Ajax dominate the Eredivisie. That is normal. That is standard. They are always in the title picture. But the big thing is, can you keep them at the top of the Eredivisie, and can you take them further? Can you make them champions of Europe? This is definitely a European-focused career mode. They've got a good young core of talents, but their squad is slowly getting stripped away as players move to Europe, other European leagues, and Erik ten Hag poaches players and they go to all these other clubs. Can you reinvigorate a new youth system at Ajax, keep the development going, but use these players to get to the top of European football? Restore them to their European glory. Their Ten Hag is gone, lads. This is your squad to mold. Plus, they have their stadium in the game as well, which is always a big tick. Okay, number 3 on the list, probably a team you didn't expect me to include, but we are headed to the MLS, and we are suggesting Charlotte FC. If you guys didn't know, I did move to the United States of America about 5 months ago, almost 6 months now. That's gone very fast, which is scary. Since I moved here, I have become a huge fan of the MLS. I was literally at the FC Cincinnati game last weekend and the weekend before that, falling in love with the league, although the referees are not, the referees suck in the MLS. But everything else about the MLS, I am falling in love with. And I said this before I moved to America, MLS career modes are underrated. A lot of the teams have their stadiums in the game, and a new team to the MLS and a new team to FIFA is Charlotte FC. Now, if you do follow American sports, you would know the Carolina Panthers exist. They actually play, like the NFL team, they play in Charlotte. Charlotte FC and Carolina Panthers, they share the same stadium, the Bank of Charlotte Stadium, or whatever it is, the Bank of America Stadium. And that gives me reason to believe that since the Bank of America Stadium is in Madden, the NFL game made by EA Sports, why wouldn't it be ported across into FIFA? We saw it with the Seattle Sounders. The Seattle Sounders and the Seattle Seahawks share the same stadium. That's in FIFA. Well, I'm interested to see whether the New England Patriots and whether New England Revolution Stadium, which is Gillette Stadium, is in FIFA. But I feel like when Charlotte's added this year, they should have their own stadium in the game. But this is really going to be a challenge as well. They've got an okay team. They've got some well-known players like Christian Fuchs, but there is a lot of work to be done. They're currently outside of the playoff picture. Can you make Charlotte FC the biggest team in America? Down to our final 2 clubs. Number 2, Nottingham Forest. They are back in the Premier League for the first time this millennium. They are one of the most historic clubs in English football. Of course, they have won a Champions League title. A lot of people in my generation and older know it, but a lot of the new generation do not realize how historic Nottingham Forest back in Brian Clough's era, how strong they were. They have won the Champions League, lads. But they are back in the Premier League, and the good thing is they have a stadium in FIFA 23. One of the things, whenever I'm a neutral and it's the championship, like last year, I wanted them to win the playoff final purely so we got another stadium into FIFA. And they are the only new stadium added into the Premier League in FIFA 23. They have done a lot of work in the off-season and in the transfer market. They have got a very fun squad, but what can you do to help Forest stay up in the Premier League this season? It is not an easy task. We see so many teams go straight up, straight down. I know this because I'm a Fulham fan, but Nottingham Forest would be a really fun way to start FIFA 23 career mode. But lads, the number 1 spot for teams that you should use to start FIFA 23 career mode. We are heading to Germany. We are heading to the Bundesliga. FC Schalke. Schalke are an absolute powerhouse in the history of German football. They have been down bad for the past few years. They've been in the 2nd division. They've been hanging around there. They were in the relegation battle before that, before they got relegated. But They are back in the top flight, the Bundesliga. Can you make Schalke the biggest team in Germany? Can you restore their status as a German superpower? The Veltins Arena is an absolute banging arena, although I will say, do not play that during the daytime because you will get the shadows on the field. Can you keep Schalke up in the Bundesliga? Can you avoid the drop? Can you build on the squad they have? And can you return them to their glory? I think Schalke would be such a fun career mode to do in FIFA 23. It's what I'm strongly considering doing on the second channel, JarradHD. Go and subscribe. JarradHD 2. Go and subscribe to that if you haven't already. Bundesliga career modes are super fun as well. Fully licensed. A lot of the smaller teams as well had their stadiums in the second and third division, which is really cool to see. Even if teams come up, there's a fair chance they'll have their stadium in the game. I am just all for doing Bundesliga career modes, and I am all for doing Schalke. So there we go, lads. Those are my 10 recommendations of the teams I think you should start FIFA 23 career mode with. Let me know who you plan on starting FIFA 23 career mode with. It's going to be a big year on the channel, lads. Subscribe if you are new around here. I'll see you for the next one soon. It's been JarradHD here. I'm out. Peace.